Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, SkelettoQZ, back again with another video. And it looks like Turkey Tom has responded to the allegations, and in a 40-minute video, no less. And he goes over everything, ladies and gentlemen. So before we begin, I do recommend watching my previous video on the allegations as I go a little bit more in detail, but I'll give you a brief rundown. Basically, both the Sacramento girl, aka Rowan, fuck off, her name is public, and Left 4 Dead, aka Katie, accuses Tom of being violent during sex, abusive, and recording them during sex without consent. With age play apparently being involved in all that, well, Tom's video disproves all of it, alright? First off, it was Rowan's idea to film themselves having sex, with Tom saying no at first, but only to finally give in, and she would know and consent every single time they did it.
Here, she alleges that I am a real freak and like to, quote, record sexual encounters without asking for consent. This is blatantly untrue. I have never recorded any sexual encounter without explicit consent. As a matter of fact, with Rowan, she was the one who initiated the idea of filming sex acts in the first place. On Tuesday, August 19th, after 3 months of knowing each other and being sexually active, Rowan texted me saying, "You should get those Meta glasses when you crack me." I responded by saying, "For what?" And she answers again, "cracking time," alluding to me filming her with the glasses onboard camera. Now, at the time, I did not feed into this. I did not show enthusiasm. I didn't even agree to get the glasses. I just responded and said, "Good night, sweet dreams." Now, to be clear, we did eventually take videos of ourselves being intimate, but I was given explicit consent every single time. And on a few occasions, she even took the phone out of my hand and was holding it while filming us. To be clear, there was never a tripod or a hidden camera. It was always handheld, and in every single video, she was clearly aware of the camera, making eye contact with the camera lens. Also, on September 8th, Rowan texts me, "I do miss it though," in regards to our sexual interactions. She follows it up by saying, "Send the videos." Keep in mind, these are videos that she claims in present day were taken without her consent. She then goes on to say, and I quote, "I will watch them and keep them close to my heart," clearly indicating she has no problem whatsoever with them existing. I'm an extremely paranoid person when it comes to my personal life and my sex life and my dating life. As a public figure, I just like to keep my private life private. So I was very hesitant to send Rowan any sexual videos we had taken. However, I did send her one single still image from one of the videos where my face is obscured. I guess there was some lingering thought in the back of my mind that if her accounts were not locked down super well, and if she had been hacked, then the videos could have been made public. Now, there's an implication she makes a few different times that I'm basically blackmailing her with these videos.
Somebody asked if you had any intention of getting any sort of like law enforcement involved, but I feel like you answered this where you just want to try to compel him to delete whatever he has on you, and that's like the like the extent of your interests.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, I don't know. I'm kind of confused about what to do, but we'll see.
At no point anywhere did Rowan provide any proof of me threatening to release these videos of us having sex or threatening to send them anywhere. So she has no reason to believe that I would ever release them. The idea that I, a person who makes a living as a public figure, would publicly release videos of me fucking my ex-girlfriend to get back at her is so insane. Not only would that incur reputational harm beyond belief, but also serious legal consequences.
By the way, throughout the text messages that he showed, it's clearly stated that she was the one who actually was gooning for him. It even talked about her pussy bleeding? Seriously, what the fuck? Yet she was scared to have sex with him, apparently.
September 14th, 2025, Rowan sent me a text saying, quote, "I'm such a freak. I like when it hurts and bleeds after. Something Wong." In one of her public-facing posts about me, she posts an interaction which reads as follows. She says, quote, "Like, we don't need to do it 3 times in one day, or do it so hard I hurt and bleed." And I said, "Well, if you don't want to have as much sex, we don't gotta. We can do other things." And she says, "Okay, I like doing other things too." The way this screenshot is cropped, it comes across like I'm some, just super callous freak who's brutally jackhammering her vagina like Steve mining diamonds. But in the full uncropped screenshot, her immediate response to me after that is, I'm a freak. I say this, and as soon as I see you, I'm gonna be freaky again. I can't resist.
By the way, the age play was a lie.
Now, one of the other allegations that Rowan has levied towards me is that I'm into age play. She's not alleging that I did it with her. She's alleging that I did it with another girl named Ellie, who I briefly talked to 2 years ago. Now, there's no proof whatsoever that I did anything close to age play, but I did text her about these allegations, and she clearly states that I've never done age play. An ex-girlfriend of mine named Kai, who I dated for 3 years, also publicly posted on Twitter saying that I never abused her and that we never did anything related to age play. So this brings...
And now, as for who broke up and why, well, we finally get that.
Publicly, she's also misrepresented the end of our relationship. In the interview, it stated that our breakup took place in December and that after that, she realized how bad it was and she felt the need to contact Katie, who we're gonna get into later. This is blatantly untrue. We broke up on January 10th of this year, 2026, and she began posting about me on January 14th, literally days later. She says the breakup was kind of mutual, an idea that is just bitterly ironic because that's not the case. Immediately after I told Rowan that I wanted to break up with her, she began threatening to post about me online and even began attempting to blackmail me into having sex with her again. I stated blatantly that I did not want to have sex with her, I didn't want to be with her anymore, I just wanted out of the relationship. This is something she was completely unwilling to accept, and that's why after I stopped talking to her, she proceeded to call me over 30 times and texted me 80 times with no response. She is publicly claiming to be a victim of sexual abuse while begging me to fuck her again.
By the way, she knew who he was and lied to his face that she didn't know exactly who he was.
She's also stated repeatedly that she's not a very online person multiple times throughout her testimony. But the wild thing about this is, Rowan had sent me a message on my YouTube connected Instagram all the way back on February 21st of 2024, 15 months before matching me on Tinder, where she said, you have to do a video on this crazy guy on Twitter who only has like 3,000 followers, but this man is a menace. I even confronted her about this when we first hung out because I found it very strange that she lied to my face when she first met me and said she didn't know who I was. I said, hey, I looked at our messages on Instagram and saw you DM me over a year ago. Rowan said, oops, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to tell you, but I watched one of your vids a while ago and thought you were cute, but I thought it would be awkward. I responded, that's okay, I was just surprised. She replied, I know I probably look crazy. I said, I mean a little bit, it's okay. I just wish you told me, that's all. She answered, I didn't want to because I thought it would be weird. I'm sorry. Kind of lied about some stuff. I was like a niche internet micro celebrity on Twitter for a little bit too. I'm chronically online and didn't want to admit it, lol. I've gotten better about it. Once again, this is just another detail that it doesn't even make sense to publicly lie about, but it's just one of those things that makes me question her intentions throughout the entire relationship looking back.
Now, as for Katie, she basically made the same claims as Rowan, you know, abusive during sex, had a terrible time with him and didn't really, respect her. But yet, she says otherwise in these text messages.
Which is probably why after we had already hung out the second time, Katie tries to arrange a third meeting with me, saying she wishes that she was in Ohio, where I was at the time, and I did not reciprocate. After this proposition, she slid up on my Instagram story 12 times over the next 10 months, and I did not slide up on her story once, not a single time. So ask yourself, do these texts sound like a girl texting a guy that she finds evil and sadistic, a guy that she was even debating going to the police about? Because to me, it seems crystal clear that she enjoyed our time together and even wanted to hang out a third time. You got to keep in mind here, she flew across the entire North American continent twice, from California to Maine to see me. After the second time, she wanted me to be her boyfriend. I didn't want to, and she then repeatedly made efforts to contact me and hang out with me again. Now to close.
But you truly want to know what seals the deal on this entire thing? It's this little voice call right here.
I don't know what you want me to say to you. I just want to move on from our relationship and have you go be in your corner. You can meet other guys and it'll be fine. I'll go meet other girls. We'll just break. We'll break up.
No, you won't, because I'm gonna make it hard for you to ever be in a relationship.
Why?
Because you don't deserve one.
Why?
Because you're a piece of shit.
Why?
Because our whole relationship, you act like everything is all about you the whole time.
Okay.
You don't give a fuck. You're just an awful guy, and I'm so sorry that your mom raised you. She seemed like a nice lady, but clearly she did something very wrong.
Okay, Rowan, I just want to move on. and have my life, and you'll move on and have your life. And we can be in our own corners. We don't have to do damage to each other. We don't have to cause each other any more anguish, okay?
I just want to see you again, though. Like, do you think we'll ever be able to see each other?
After the way these conversations have gone today, I really don't think so.
Why?
Because you're, like, threatening to blackmail me.
I'm not. Well, if you don't come see me, then I will.
I think it's safe to say that Tom is innocent. Really, the only thing he's guilty of is gooning. It's a really unhinged woman. Now, after all this was their response.
I understand people have rightfully called me out for saying stuff about Tom without providing the full context and spinning the narrative about certain things. I'm sorry for not providing the full context of this situation. Here is the full truth with no lies, just 100% coming clean. Yes, we were both into kinky stuff, but I will say he did never ask before engaging in it, so I just assumed he was into that and played into it from after our first sexual encounter. On our first sexual encounter, he was very rough and engaged in choking and BDSM without asking before. What he was into was basically rape play CNC. So that's why I repeatedly refer to it as such. That wasn't out of the blue me calling our encounters rape. I never asked him to be especially sexually aggressive at first. It was like that from the jump. It was because of the nature of our encounters that I assumed that he was what he was into. Yes, I'm into some freaky shit like that, but he is very much into it too. And that doesn't mean that he occasionally didn't take it too far to the point where I would express physical pain. Tom was only able to ejaculate from the videos or if I was crying in pain, and that is the truth. Also, it's true I had never used KF before my relationship with Tom, and he was on the website often and did have issues with ED. Also, yes, I used to be online and I know who Tom was, but my online activity has been very limited in the past few years, and all of my accounts were private. The bleeding was caused by sex, not my birth control. I made sure to note that in my text with him. I said I was on my period sometimes, or just bleeding after sex if you review the screenshots we have both posted. I would be on my period off and on for a month on occasion, but I would bleed consistently after sexual interactions. Sure, we had sex on my period sometimes, but he would also cause me to bleed multiple times from our sexual encounters when I wasn't. There was a clear difference between period blood and blood from being wounded TMI. Also, the Lolita poster was in my best friend's room, and I was calling her room goals because I thought her squishmallows are cute. Tom has been in my room multiple times, and I did not have any Lolita or Lolicon-related stuff in my room, so I think it's odd he referenced that, especially considering Ellie's room is filled to the brim with Lolicon figures, and he visited her IRL. One thing he did not address is the fact that he did hit me in the face multiple times, which I never asked for nor consented to. He also did not address Katie being bruised from their sexual encounters, which she proved with photographic evidence. The texts of my roommate were genuine, and I did tell her about a time after we had sex that was very aggressive, and he did say he liked hurting me. I was uncomfortable after that one experience, but I still stayed with it and fed into it. Tom did bring up the Liam and Kai situation with me multiple times, and I knew nothing about the details of that until he showed me pictures of them together. On one occasion, he did drive to my place and rant about Kai for like 3 hours before having sex with me that was aggressive. That is when he showed me texts from her and told me about the blackmail folder. I did ask him if it was okay to film a couple times and made jokes about the meta goggles, but the rest of the times he would start filming without asking. A couple of times I waved my hands to get him to stop and express discomfort, and he did not stop but kept the videos. I believe I held the phone up once during one of the times I asked him to film. There were several occasions in which he would take his phone out mid-sexual activity and record without asking first. I also find it interesting he called me an insecure partner when another girl came forward confirming that he was indeed cheating on me throughout our relationship. Another thing he didn't address is the age play situation. The woman he had met up with has been exposed multiple times for being an age player and a lolicon. That was one of the main reasons for me coming forward in the first place, because she dressed like a child and fed into that stuff. Based on what I've seen from her Instagram, there's absolutely no way he would not have known this. He also did not address the comments he made towards me and Katie about us looking underage, which were genuine comments he made. The things I said in the interview about Destiny and Dick Masterson were true, and he told me those things in person. Katie and I will be making a longer response with more screenshots enhancing our side. He did ask for nudes, and we have proof of this. The unsolicited nude picture claims are crazy. I also want to say that in my spurg out text chain to him during our breakup, I called him out multiple times for hitting me without my consent, which he conveniently left out.
So get this, in their last ditch effort, they try to bring in pedophilia of all things, and supposedly this girl had an interaction with Turkey Tom, which she later redacted. I'll show the, I guess, post, the Kiwi Farms post. But, I mean, are you serious? This is just absolutely pathetic. I'm sorry, but ladies and gentlemen, I think it's safe to say that these women are liars. Alright, 2 things that stood out to me throughout this entire situation. 1 was going on Kiwi Farms of all places to drop this story. And 2, the fact that they didn't drop every single text message and instead kept drip feeding it throughout the whole entire process. Especially if the accusations are very severe according to them. Especially if now you're going to throw pedophilia into the mix. Now there is one more thing I do want to talk about this, and it's mainly the aftermath that has happened after this. It seems that Tom is receiving backlash on supposedly doxing her, which that's complete bullshit, alright? First off, her Instagram had her first and last name, so already there's that. Second, Tom tried to cover her face and last name, but ultimately it was Brandon Buckingham who ripped the band-aid and showed her public LinkedIn account. I'm sorry, but if you're going to make false allegations about someone and go after their friends and family, you better actually keep your shit private if you want some type of anonymity. Look, I'm not saying it's okay, but I mean, at that point, you're just being stupid if you don't keep your shit private. Seriously, if it wasn't going to be Brandon, it was going to be someone else at some point or another. Especially considering Kiwi Farms are now turning on the girls. But those are my thoughts on the situation, alright? Let me know in the comment section below if you think otherwise. Dislike the video if you dislike it. Don't forget to check out my other content. Subscribe, like, share the video. And with that being said, I am out.